It's time for
ModCast.
Hey, it's the ModCast. I am your crazy, derpy host, Sheena.
And I'm Tinbad.
I'm Alice.
I am Rod.
It's Demi.
And I'm Joker.
Okay, so we were actually delaying it a little bit because I hadn't heard back from Alice yet, and I figured she was going to pull a Kibbles and just, join whenever. And I was hovering over the record button, and I just see the cat face pop up next to my face and curse. Which, by the way, is full screened on my monitor, so it's quite large, not the actual size of a cat's head, but you did do me a frighten.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but man, today has been insane with, just because it's the first of the month, and, all the Patreon stuff is, getting in the swing now, and I'm still so, I check the page, and I see the numbers, I'm like, okay, and then I look at, okay, these are the people, these are the addresses, I need to mail this, and I need to mail that, and it's, it still hasn't really hit me, how crazy the support has been from the community. I'm so baffled. I really am. Even you guys, even though I tell you not to, and you still do it, use your coupon!
Nah.
Use it!
Coupon.
Meh.
What coupon?
Do I look like an old blue-haired lady using coupons? No. Come on.
Oh, I was
Yes.
old ladies have blue hair. I realized you were talking about Marge. But
Actually, that comes from a different thing.
Oh.
There's a weird thing with colors.
Oh.
People would add a tiny bit of blue dye to things because it somehow accentuates the white. And so some women would actually add just a tinge of blue dye to their hair to make it more of a shock white when they got old. I don't know why.
No, it's actually used, when I had my silver, white hair, you would use toning conditioner, purples and blues, to remove the, the white. Or, sorry, remove the yellow to make it more white. But, okay. I thought you meant Marge.
No. Well, I mean, she probably uses coupons as well. The Simpsons have been running forever, it seems.
Forever. But yeah, I'm still just so, because we talked about me doing Let's Plays and stuff before, but I was always so busy. So, I'm pretty excited because we've talked about certain games. That's going to be loud if it falls. Certain games, like Life is Strange or Undertale, things like that, where
Both are so good.
and both have a very high chance of being spoiled to me on stream. So,
Yeah.
please tell me that did not pick up my burp.
No, it did not pick up your burp.
No, thanks. Oh, thank you for lying, Tinbad.
Anytime.
Man.
Can I say lying is one thing that's gotten really weird since working for 911?
Oh dear.
How so?
For legal reasons, you absolutely can't tell someone something that's not entirely true, but you learn to, kind of do the half-truths. The police aren't exactly on the way, but we are getting them on the way. And by that, I mean, we're going to go through these other 7 calls first, but we will get to yours eventually.
Man.
Oh, wow.
Unless it's super urgent.
Yeah, I mean, if there's something crazy, I don't know, a murder happening, we'll probably bump that up a couple slots in the priority.
I would hope so.
But if it's
It's
While it's happening, it should probably be at the top so you can intervene it.
right. So generally, the way it works is there's priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4, and priority 9.
What happened to
Calls.
5, 6, 7, and 8?
Don't worry about 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the default, hey,
Is it, Rod?
yes.
Is it because 7, 8, 9?
Huh.
Yeah, wow.
I still can't believe how bad it was.
Yeah, that bombed.
So,
The silence was the sound of laughter in your cold, dead hearts.
Rod,
Yeah.
I think that joke needs an ambulance. What priority do you think that gets?
I'll just go straight to the corner at that point.
Okay. Anyways.
But don't worry, that's still a priority 1. So, priority 4 is things like reports. Yeah, they're important, but you're not going to die if it sits there for an hour. You'll be inconvenienced, obviously, but
There are more
I don't
important
really care about
people.
your convenience.
Yeah, there are
It's
more
people dying that's the concern.
more important people ahead
So-
of you.
Right. So priority 4, that's routine stuff. Oh, someone's parked wrong. Oh, someone's sending you text messages and you want them to stop. Someone broke into your car last week and you decided to finally get around to filing a report. Perfect. Priority 4. Then we go up to priority 3. That's like, oh, a family's arguing, but they aren't hitting each other yet. Okay, that's priority 3. We will send someone immediately, but they're going to drive at a nice, safe, leisurely, barely breaking the speed limit pace.
Top for Calgary.
And in that case, we're only going to send someone from that sector. So the city's divided east, west, and south. Don't ask about north.
There's no noise.
East, west, and south sectors. We'll send a car from that sector, because there's patrol routes in each sector, so it's like 3 sectors and then 5 patrol routes per. Normally, we'd send the routine patrol car, but for something like that, okay, we'll rush a little bit. We'll send someone from that sector. Priority 2, they'll cross sector lines, but it'll still be at the leisurely pace. There's not a whole lot of priority 2 runs. And then priority 1 is who's available right now and who's closest, they're going lights and sirens.
Right.
Unless the officer decides maybe I shouldn't pull up lights and sirens if, there's like a hostage situation or something like that. But either way.
Like
Priority 9 are things like, hey, this is so-and-so from such and such news. Can you have a sergeant call me about that motor vehicle accident that happened
oh god.
5 minutes ago? Certainly, I will put in a message to have a sergeant call you when they are available. That's priority 9. That thing will sit for hours, or it may not actually, the sergeant will see it, and he'll just say, no, I'm busy. And it will go away. That's stuff for, low priority messages.
Yeah, basically at that point.
And that's why there's nothing 5, 6, 7, or 8, because it's, at the very least, it warrants a 4, or it warrants a...
Are you doing
Maybe.
something, or is Scooter scuffling around in the background?
Oh, Scooter, calm down.
Okay, I thought that was crazy.
No, I can't hear because I got the headphones on.
Oh.
But it looks
Oh, that's
like he's
interesting.
mauling a plastic bag.
Yes, that is exactly what it sounds like.
I will take that away from him.
Okay. I was gonna say actually
If that
today,
rod dies.
and I guess DJ was waking up to it, was that the UCLA here was on lockdown today for a shooter.
Yeah, I saw you retweeting it, but I didn't really look into it much.
Yeah, I don't know who all here was following that. No one, I guess? Okay.
Apparently not.
Apparently
Sorry,
not.
I was fighting the
I
cat.
do not know what happened. I'm Googling right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar. Was it the last thing I saw was a murder-suicide?
Yeah,
looked
they're,
like?
they're saying they found a suicide note on a body and there were 2 victims. Reports are still unclear about what happened exactly, but I do know, I know someone who was, trapped, and she was, posting on Facebook, and it's one of those things where, your adrenaline is rushing and everyone's working together to, barricade themselves in, and there are photos being retweeted of people, barring the doors or, what's the word I'm looking for? The guy who, no. There's the guy who just, makes stuff out of things that he shouldn't be able to.
MacGyver?
MacGyver.
MacGyver.
They were MacGyvering
Yeah.
doors that opened outwards by, tying belts
I'm-
around the handle and,
Yep.
locking them
I'm
onto...
looking at a picture of someone who took USB cables from printers and took them from between the 2 printers. They pushed the giant HP printers together and then tied the cables around the door handle.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that it couldn't
I'm
I'm
open
looking
because
at a picture of that right now.
because there's no locks and stuff. So, but it's so you do that for the first hour or 2, and then that adrenaline rush starts to wane, and everyone starts to get hungry, and they're tired, and they're sick of being caught in here with no update. They don't know what's going on. They want to go home. And so I was seeing a lot of that on my feeds of the people, because you start to get kind of antsy because you don't know what's going on, and you're just cut off from everyone and everything. But eventually they were let out, and police still haven't made an official report, I guess, or at least I haven't seen it. But it does look like it ended with only 2 fatalities. It's still too many, but you know, I've seen worse with mall shootings, or there was
Yeah.
Sandy Hook. So
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm really grateful that I've not had to deal with that yet, just because it's fantastic that people were able to, you know, get to safe shelter and barricade themselves in
Yeah.
and, you know, make themselves safe. But at the same time, from the perspective of, okay, let's say we have to send officers in to try and assess the situation, as one does in this event. They've now got to go door by door by door, room by room. Half of these are now MacGyvered closed, and the police don't know who's inside these rooms. The shooter could have barricaded himself up at any one of these avenues. So I definitely am glad that, in this case, as callous as it sounds, only 2 people were victims of this.
right, like
Because in
yeah.
this situation, there's always such a massive potential for more fatalities or even collateral damage. Because I can't remember, I believe it was The Daily Show actually sent one of their correspondents to an active shooter training event where he was supposed to be the law enforcement guy, like dealing with the active shooter. And immediately somebody gets up and runs past him, which if you're trying to, you know, avoid being shot by an active shooter and you see the police, oh yes, that's safety, I'm going to run there. But law enforcement, that's a guy charging at me. I don't know if he's got a bomb, if he has a gun, if he has a knife. And the correspondent
Yeah.
actually paintball shot the guy in the chest. And it's like, well, on one hand, you're safe-ish. On the other hand, you did just shoot a teenager. And then, of course, the active shooter guy actually popped out of another classroom and shot the correspondent in the back.
Mm-hmm.
For comedic sake, because it is The Daily Show, but at the same time, those situations are just
That's the
terrifying.
reality. It's like a lot of people just react based on panic, and they don't think. That's why, you know, when you're in high school and stuff, they always train you, like, walk orderly, don't push, don't shove, like, we'll all get out of here if we all cooperate. But there's always that person who just panics and wants to, like, get ahead, be first, get out. And it's like, you're probably going to be the first to die if you do that. Like, I actually remember we were in lockdown in high school. I had forgotten about this. But our French classes, for some reason, we didn't have a classroom for it, so we used the home ec room with all the stoves. Yeah, so we were in there, and we ended up being on lockdown. Like, there were desks, like, tables and chairs in there, so we were, like, under that. And then the thing we realized, though, is that room was on the first floor, and the back wall was all windows leading, like, outside. So it's like if the shooter had been outside walking behind, he would have been able to see all of us, smash the window in with the butt of his gun, and just, like, have at us. And then also, like, the door, it did have a lock, but it was also, like, framed with more windows leading into the hallway. So, like,
Yeah, but those look nice, Sheena.
yeah, but so, like, what we ended up doing was we all, well, not all of us, but most of us piled into the like, the pantry cabinet that was behind the front desk, and then the rest of us tried to, like, fit there in the corners. A bunch of us were in the cupboards because it was the home ec room, so we went into the cupboards under, like, the sinks and stuff, and we just, like, hung out there, and we're all, like, of course there's that one person who's, like, panicking, and, like, I think it took, like, 3 of, like, the bigger guys to, like, pin them down and tell them, like, you need to breathe, and you need to calm down, and you need to not make noise. And eventually they did, and they went in, like, the pantry because they were, like, saying, oh, I'm claustrophobic, I don't want to go in the cupboard. So it's, like, being in that sort of situation is just, it's difficult, not only for yourself, but also, like, because you're so easily influenced by your surroundings and everyone else that you happen to be with, because you don't choose to be there with those people.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an absolutely terrifying experience for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And like I said,
It still seems like it was resolved rather quickly based on other reports that I've seen and read.
Well, the initial information that I got wasn't that it was a murder-suicide. It was that it was 4 people with automatic weapons that each, like,
saw that
broke
too.
off into 4 different buildings, and I'm like, okay, that's gonna be messy, but I've got to go to work and I've got to worry about these problems that I'm getting presented with here.
How did that
So-
come out to end up the way it is?
People, it's a sensationalist thing. People will like say, "Oh, I saw this," and then it'll escalate just a little bit. "Oh, well, I saw this, and I saw
yeah.
this."
There's also the people who
Essentially-
enjoy feeding incorrect information to the masses because
That's
they get
also
off on
true.
that. They're like,
Oh,
ha ha ha,
that's-
everyone believes me.
They're assholes.
That's probably worse than asshole. Like, that's just... Like, you just don't do that.
Demi, were you
Think for a second,
saying
goddamn.
something happened for you this past week or weekend as well?
Actually, it was today. It was a couple hours ago while I was at work. A two-seater plane went through one of the hangars at a nearby airport in Chester County. It's one of those older planes, and apparently it lost power to one of the engines.
Was Harrison Ford flying it?
No.
No, you missed the golf course. Come on.
No, and it turned around, and instead of going through the opening of the hangar, it went through, like, the side, like, 2 feet to the side. It went through the actual wall of the hangar.
Oh, jeez.
Damn.
Yeah, the hangar was actually, like, made out of that, plastic. Like, the hangar door was made out of, like, that strong plastic that they use, and,
Is it
kinda
is
cut
it like the
holes
one
through
that
it.
that's like the Ruffles chips? Like it's got the bendy birds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and it was it was crazy because it was heading. They said it was heading northwest or northeast, I think, which was coming toward us, toward the Philadelphia airport. So if that thing fell on the Philadelphia airport, it would have been even more disastrous than trying to turn
Yeah.
back to a smaller airport.
Yeah.
Airports are already so complicated. When anything goes wrong, it can get real bad.
Again, it's a when any place is on lockdown. The thing though with airports is it sees so many strangers in what's usually a strange place for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like our airport. They take things like not as seriously as they should sometimes. So
I mean,
it is what it is. I am like situated outside the actual airport in a separate section, and we have
Good.
our protocols, that we do when shit happens.
Alice, were you here when we were talking about downloading bears?
I was not.
You certainly missed out on a discussion. I can't remember what it was exactly, but
We were talking about piracy. We wouldn't download a bear.
oh, because I was having issues opening a CSV file,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so Rod and Vesper were
Right.
helping me with that.
I
And
said
then-
to go to Walgreens.
Yeah, you sent me the Walgreens, and I was like, no, I need the CVS. But basically, the first program I tried to install, it like installed, but I couldn't actually find it on my computer after it installed. So I was getting really frustrated because it was late, and of course, when you're trying to help somebody and you can't see what the problem is, you're trying to be like, have you tried this? Did you turn it on and off again? And I'm just like, yes, I've done that. Yes, I did this. I've tried installing it twice. It's not working. I just need to open this file so I can pick a raffle winner. Why is this so difficult? And so like I
There
installed
may have been a bit of Overwatch salt mixed into that.
whatever. So
A bit?
I
A
I
bit.
uninstalled it, and I think I had been saying something like, I don't want anything like unnecessary like on my computer. I already have enough programs and all this and blah blah blah. And I was like, but if it was a bear, I'd download it. Like I would totally download a bear. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, who wouldn't?
And then I think Rod was saying something like, because there were like those ads like forever ago that were saying like, you wouldn't download a bear, don't download music, or like you wouldn't download a card
You
and
wouldn't download
stuff.
a car, yeah.
Yeah. I very specifically remember one of them saying like you wouldn't download a bear, and Rod said, well, with the way 3D printers are going, like what if there's at some point you have a security system that when triggered it starts printing
Oh,
a
that
bear.
one was Joker.
Oh,
That
it was
was
Joker!
I can't.
Oh,
I can't take
damn.
credit for that.
Yeah.
That was such a good idea. I'll let Joker have it.
Like
Yeah,
like what is it? Your security system gets triggered and starts printing bears?
yeah.
Like, what
Intruder
the-
detected. Printing bears.
That's horrifying. I picture like the Oh, what was it? There's no other Canadians here, but there's a commercial in Canada about
We have you now.
about the House Hippos.
What?
You guys don't know what the House
What?
Hippo is?
You're gonna have to start this one from the beginning.
All right. So at work, I do spend a fair amount of time between calls on Reddit. This is the 5th time this week alone I've heard of House Hippos, and I still have no idea what the hell they are.
You have to watch the commercial.
are they?
It's so cute. Because when Joker said, like, oh, just start printing a bear, I pictured the printed bear would be, like, the size of the House Hippo. And I'm like, oh, it's so small and, like, harmless. But then I'm sure the teeth would be as sharp as piranhas, and you would still not want a tiny little snarling bear running at you.
I would rather one large bear than, like, 5 small ones.
I don't think you're understanding how tiny the House Hippo is.
I'm Googling it now.
It's a
It
commercial.
reminds me of
Tinbad,
that
have
other
you
thing.
not-
Would you rather fight?
Google is our friend.
I have seen House Hippos, yes. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
whether or not this all happened after I'd already gone to bed.
Yeah, you're.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was last night after some Overwatch.
Oh yeah, last night with my regrets, my adult decisions, and my apparently crappy adult memory that I had. My chiropractor appointment at 10:30 in the morning. I got like 3 hours of sleep, and then I took another nap.
Good God.
And I took a shower. Like I literally, when the stream started, I was naked because I needed to shower, and it was like, all right, we gotta go real fast now. So that's some info for you.
Oh
Today's
my
stream
God.
started with me scrubbing my armpits.
You made it on time though.
I did. You never would have guessed.
Find the same information.
But now
There's a
now everyone
Wikipedia
knows.
page for House Hippo. What is this?
Hippos! They're so cute.
How many links, Rod?
I'll put the links in the description below for you guys to check out.
Oh, House Hippos.
I need to know the house.
I
Hippos.
yeah, I
need to
figure
see it with
'cause
my eyes.
Tinbad's like close to the border that he must have some sort of
Wow, that is really small.
right. So I'm picturing like House Hippo
Some
size
sort of what now?
bears. Oh, some
Honestly,
sort of idea of what it is.
Of a House Hippo?
Yes,
What does the border have to do with that?
because it's a Canadian commercial. And
No, I saw that on the internet.
oh well, I don't know. No
So-
one else
Closest
here
to
did.
Canada.
Here's the better point, though. Imagine being like the person that comes in first to work on the day that your security system was tripped and it printed a bear. It's like
It prints.
you go in,
Oh my god, that sounds like
You
something
go
out of
inside.
Resident Evil.
you've gone inside, you've ridden the elevator to the 3rd floor, you're going back to your cubicle, and then you just see like the mangled corpse of the would-be
Oh.
burglar, and then you're like, oh no, there's a bear in the building.
Would it really leave
I
a
mean-
mangled corpse, or would it not just eat it? Because this is a bear that has just been
Is it-
printed.
It would leave.
Is it
parts.
printed with a full stomach, or
That is true.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
that's
Is
just
this
like
like
an
is the bear
a?
half full or
Okay.
half
No.
Is it a cyborg bear?
Rod, real quick, why would we print a bear with a full stomach?
I mean,
I mean,
What I'm
you
saying
need to get
is-
it to
what I'm
the
saying-
fat people.
Yeah.
you print a bear,
Print it
assume
empty.
that its stomach is half full, so it has energy, but it still needs more. Is the bear half full or half empty?
Okay.
I mean, if you're printing
Trick
it, it's
question.
full strength. It was
Okay.
just born full
But
size.
Rod, let's be
Good
real
question.
here.
You're about to be killed by a freaking bear.
Let's be real though.
Well, what if it was like a cyborg bear? And then it
Cyborgs
just turned off.
would be the greater race because maybe the bear does have a real stomach. Maybe it also has a not real stomach, like a hybrid car. So it can like.
It run-
So what I'm
That's
hearing
going
is
and
Rod's
going
creating a
and
Skynet
going.
bear.
So you're walking into work and there's a
Like-
bear on a freaking like Roomba charger or something like that.
But Rod, think about it, right? Because we've talked about like how we can't wait for like cyborg bodies to be a thing, and now just
It's gonna
given
be
this,
amazing.
just given this information, I'm heavily considering having 2 different stomachs to process 2 different types of fuel for myself.
What would be the
But-
second type of fuel, Sheena?
Because then I wouldn't need to sleep. It does not matter. I don't know. Plug me into the wall.
Oh.
Hold on. I gotta go buy McDonald's in the gas station. I'm feeling a little hungry.
I'm
What do you get at the gas station? I'm thinking premium this time. I'm gonna treat myself.
Oh my god.
Are
Did you
we-
hear? Did you hear Dave
No.
went diesel? Oh, that stuff tastes like garbage.
Ew.
No, come on. If we're to technology where we have fucking cyborgs, let's not be using gasoline and fossil fuels to power the cyborgs.
I imagine we would be like even
I mean,
more
they gotta start
expensive
somewhere.
Teslas. We would be
I mean,
high-end Teslas.
If you think about it,
plutonium.
the robots in Futurama, they just run on ethanol.
Yeah, no.
I don't. What
Well,
is
Oh,
this?
that's
Just
right.
Alcohol.
drink.
They just
Oh.
drink.
That's right up Rod's alley.
I'm
Perfect.
pretty much powered by that already. I mean,
You wouldn't even notice
Second
a change.
Exactly.
You know what,
you're halfway
Rod?
there.
They could do the surgery with you awake at this point.
yeah, probably.
Probably.
Honestly, with my fear of needles, sure.
Oh
Cut me
God,
open,
your
just,
fear of
give me a
needles.
drink.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, Roderick is a human bender right now.
He is. I'm really tempted to shop some like bender eyes over his and like.
Just give me square pupils. It's fine.
Made for bending.
Okay.
So here's the question.
Yeah.
Out of
Oh.
all of the, if you could get one part, like upgraded essentially, what would you go for first?
My spine.
No.
Spine?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
my friend's dad
Oh, can you
has
hook me
a
up?
cochlear implant.
Oh.
No, he has a cochlear implant. That's
Okay.
he's
That's for
almost
hearing.
deaf.
Yeah.
But he's got one with a freaking 3.5 millimeter jack, so he can plug his iPod into his implant.
Oh no!
It's
I,
not-
actually, no. I have a friend who's like pretty deaf as well. I don't think she has like surgical implants, but she has hearing aid with like Bluetooth. So yeah, she can do like the same
Yeah.
thing where like her iPod will play like directly into her ears.
Where
And-
is the headphone jack?
It's
it in the
behind
ear?
his ear.
That's so
Okay. It's
cool.
behind his ear.
I want to be like him.
But
Plugs into the side of his head.
Yeah.
he's also got a little, just like a tiny remote that he can use to control it. And I have seen him when he's like his wife is giving him like a list of things she needs from the store. I will see him just very casually reach into his pocket and start messing around in there. And a minute later, you can hear freaking like AC/DC playing out of his freaking ear. Like, are you kidding me? It's the best thing ever.
That
Rod,
takes
no.
selective hearing to a whole new level.
Wow. So like, did anyone do anything dangerous on the weekend or like? Because it was
I
Memorial
actually
Day
did that
weekend,
chainsaw
right?
juggling.
Whoa, what?
No, I sat at home and played video games. Come on.
Oh, I
It's
don't.
me.
No, because you made me think of a story my friend told me about her father grabbing a chainsaw. So, or sorry, no,
What?
it was a hedge trimmer. But that's not my story to tell.
What?
But yes. So not that far off, Joker. It's a possibility. It wouldn't surprise
Yeah,
me
you
at this
bet-
Mentioned
point.
the hedge trimmer.
The wrong end.
Oh.
It's a-
Yeah.
Why?
She said she came home and there were like, she heard something in the backyard, so she went out to like the shed and there were beer cans everywhere and there's a hedge trimmer
Right.
just like running on the ground and there's blood and she asked her mom, "Where's Dad?" "Oh, he went to the ER."
That sounds like every Father's Day
Mm.
ever.
I don't know, man, America. It's all still wild to me.
Yeah, it's still the Wild West.
Uh,
Don't forget.
Seems fairly tame to me, but I'm not gonna lie. This week at work has been absolutely bonkers.
Okay, but weekend.
What day? Oh wait, it's Wednesday.
Oh my God, Raw.
Yep.
I don't pay attention to which day it is. I just pay attention.
Okay.
Am I off tomorrow?
Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend, and everyone knows that I took off like last week, and I went to a hotel, a nice hotel for once. I thought it was gonna be nicer than it was. The bathroom was pretty nice, which is fine. So for like the one night there, I just like ordered the really crazy expensive room service because normally I just walk out of the hotel and get McDonald's or something under $5. I had a bath with a bath bomb in the tub, and then I laid in a really comfy bed and watched, caught up with all of the Game of Thrones, and that was my weekend.
Oh.
No,
Yes.
not the door! Not the
I
door!
remember the live messaging.
Oh no, the door!
Yeah, your live reactions
Oh
to Game
my
of Thrones.
God,
were the best
I
thing
was
ever.
on
They
a-
were
great.
fantastic.
I was on a different decibel level.
I was sitting there at work, just sitting behind the supervisor's desk, laughing the entire time.
I remember I kept trying to explain it to Joker because I remember having issues wrapping my head around like all this weird like rift
Time
in
travel.
time thing
Yes.
with Final Fantasy 13 because we're like, oh, we're gonna
Oh,
do spin-offs to
fuck
buy more
that.
time for 15. Like, don't get me wrong,
13-2 was a fucking mess.
I do love like 13, like the lore of it and
Yeah.
the characters, but the way they executed the games was really, really bad and confusing because they just
The
stuffed.
gameplay is rough,
But-
but 13-2 is a mess.
That's why I kept trying to like explain to you, like, I guess spoilers for I guess the week before this episode. It's been long enough. Cause yeah, this
Also, we
will
can
come
put
out
it
by
in.
the new episode. So wait, has everyone here watched?
I have. Joker
I
has.
have.
Anyone that
Yeah,
hasn't
I
has
watched
no
Game of
excuse
Thrones.
because I've given my password out to everybody that's asked so far.
Okay, well, basically, I'll say it in a way that's not too spoilery, but it was like, someone has a companion who's like had a seizure as a kid, and like can only say Hodor, Hodor, like that's how he talks, and so that's what everyone calls him. Before his seizure, he was able to talk and function like a normal person. And so this Hodor person becomes his like helper when he gets paralyzed, and he ends up getting this ability where he's able to like go into the past and like watch old events, but he can't influence them. No one knows he's there. He can see them, he can yell and scream, he can try and interact, but he can't actually do anything. Another one of his abilities is he's able to sort of possess other living creatures and see through their eyes and maybe control them, you know, to his
Usually
will.
animals.
Because he's paralyzed, so he needs a way to defend himself when people attack him. What ends up happening, though, is while he's in an episode watching his Hodor friend, like, before his seizure, he's getting attacked, like, real time, where his sleeping body is at that point. And his friend on the outside, like, watching over him, is telling him, like, you need to go into Hodor to protect us because we're gonna die. But he hears her when he's still in the vision, back when Hodor was like really little. And what ends up happening is he possesses Hodor in the past. And the thing that Joker was really confused about, 'cause he was saying that
What?
no, because you were saying like, oh, he touched him in the past, so he can change things in the past. And I was like, the tree man actually said before that, something important to remember is what is written in ink, like it's already dry, like you can't change it. So it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy that he had to possess Hodor in the past.
No,
Yeah.
I was saying that he can affect the past,
No, he
but not
can't.
in a way that changes it. No, but the future is set. What's going to happen is always going to happen, but it only happens that way because he did something in the past.
It's kind of I think I understand what Joker's saying is he has already, based on what we've seen, somehow messed with the past in a way, but it's a weird, messed up, self-fulfilling prophecy, and he can only do things that are going to happen.
Well,
Yeah.
yes and no, because it's something that occurred before he even existed. Like, that was when his father was his age.
Right.
But it was always going to
It's
happen.
Tinbad.
not- It makes sense. No matter how much you argue it, it's not going to make sense.
That's
No, probably
exactly.
not.
Tinbad's
it's-
really got it at the end.
It's
do
it's
this.
basically like a wormhole, because, like, I remember seeing how a wormhole is explained as, like, a piece of paper folded in half. The two ends, like, don't meet, but you can put a pencil through them. Or, like, I don't know, something.
Right.
I can't remember what
Essentially,
explaining it.
Hodor has to become Hodor, but Bran isn't born yet. But then later on in Bran's life, Bran is mucking up, and he somehow
Basically,
makes Willis into Hodor in a
it's-
weird self-fulfilling prophecy way.
Because
It's a time
it's,
loop.
Yeah, it's exactly, it's a time loop. It's basically a circle, and he has to possess Hodor because Hodor has already been damaged by a seizure from before Bran existed. And so if Bran doesn't do that, that could like the way I'm looking at it is because in Final Fantasy 13 too, there were like paradoxes or like alternate endings that you could get. And that's basically what I'm looking at is if Bran didn't do that, then like who knows what would have happened to the entire the timeline that they live in right now, because Hodor never would have had the seizure. He would have been able to talk the entire time.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay?
I'm saying that like it was always going to happen that way.
I feel
but
like we're
it
not
won't- But
we're not really
No.
arguing. We're looking at it
You're
from
on the
two
same
different
page.
points.
You're on the same page.
Yeah.
One person's reading the top, one person's reading the bottom.
Yeah.
I've heard this exact conversation in a loop for an hour and a half at work
Oh
on
no.
like Tuesday. I'm like, can you guys get back to work and shut up about Game of Thrones? You're on the clock.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think I talk about at my work when I'm not dealing with crazies?
I mean, yeah.
Booze.
Hookers?
It's Game of Thrones.
It's booze.
But yeah. Generally, we talk about Game of Thrones and how we're going to drink booze while watching Game of Thrones.
And what booze you're gonna drink.
So did anyone do
What?
anything more interesting than lie in bed and take baths and watch like a season and a half of Game of Thrones?
Trip to Pittsburgh.
Was it exciting?
D&D.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's... Oh, right, D&D happened over the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, right.
It was like
Forgot about
such
that.
a long time ago because, I'm not going to lie,
It was
so we
almost
recorded
double
the
days.
podcast on a day, and during the modcast, I started to drink, but I didn't stop
Oh.
until the following morning.
Oh no.
And then I went to bed, and I woke up still a little drunk. I ran through the whole D&D session, and then luckily Joker managed to end it relatively quick with some bullshit dice rolls.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of laid there for a minute. I got up, I puked, and then I went to sleep for about 4 hours with a hangover.
Seems like we always try to make sure you puke before you go to sleep.
Oh yeah, I don't want to choke to death.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's the last way I want to go is choke to death on my own vomit for my hangover.
I'm just gonna say I fucked up that Dragonborn.
You also fucked up like the rest of his plot line. He needs to get a new person.
How you fixed it?
It's already fixed. I fixed it like an hour after the hangover ended. It wasn't difficult. It was just, you know.
It was just funny because like Chop and the other men and Jade and Calvin, we were all like, so is this guy going to come later in the story? And there was like a really, really long pause from you, and you're like, well, not anymore.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was set up. He was going to escape. Chop fucked
Yeah,
me
we
on
said
that.
no.
Good to
We
know.
decided no.
Wee Babs is making me proud.
Well, I fought
Yeah,
this
yeah.
I fought this guy one-on-one with a little bit of reinforcement from beforehand, and then when he was laying on the ground, Chop is like, nah, and just fucking finished him with magic, just destroyed him.
Yep, sounds
Yep.
like Wee Babs.
You Canadians
Die
are
in
surprisingly
combat, man.
vicious for a culture that does not have guns. Well, at least to any like large degree.
Do you know what you can do with a moose antler?
Oh, speaking of Canada, today I believe is the 40th anniversary of the death of Tim Horton.
I want Tim Hortons.
I'm not gonna lie, I read up on how he died. Way to go, Tim Horton.
How did
You
he
have
die?
the seal of approval. He was driving from Toronto to Buffalo at 4 o'clock in the morning
As you
while
do.
running from the police
Yep.
with a blood alcohol content twice the legal limit while on dextroamphetamines and a barbiturate.
Nice.
Yep.
Is that like your dream death, man, Roderick?
I mean,
Maybe-
it's
maybe
it's
you
one
better-
of the preferred ways to go.
Maybe choose a different location, though, that you're driving to.
Yeah, Buffalo. I mean, is it Buffalo, Oklahoma, or Buffalo, New York?
I mean, by asking me, I didn't read the article.
He was going to New York. But I'm from Buffalo, Oklahoma originally.
Tinbad, did you go
That'd be actually...
anywhere interesting this weekend?
Did I go anywhere, or did anything interesting happen?
I mean, either or. I assume you left your house.
So I missed ModCast and I missed D&D because I left my house.
Whoa, you went
And-
outside.
Yes, I went outside
What's
and I went
outside?
downtown, and I learned a lesson.
Ooh, a lesson.
Yeah.
Abby.
Did you lose your pants?
Don't buy cheap condoms?
No. Well, at some point I did, but I was home by then.
Oh.
So
Were you
you
alone?
probably all saw the comment that I made that I had claw marks.
Oh, yes.
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 Tell me
Yes.
more.
And it was
Probably
not
think
from a
of it.
cat or a rabid raccoon, Joker.
Nope.
Hey, I have
Well,
never
that's
been
more.
attacked by a raccoon.
Yeah, but you get awfully
Massive.
close.
Aren't
I
all
mean,
passive?
the duck did bite at me a little bit.
Oh, Jesus.
They have lots of teeth. I'd be careful. Go ahead, Tinbad.
Nah, I can take a
So,
take a duck.
so person I was with was kind of masochistic. The problem is they responded in kind.
I was gonna say, like,
It's like they're
So-
liking it, they're liking it,
So-
and then they dug their nails in, and I'm like, okay.
well, you're not getting out of that one. I imagine that's a lot like,
You're
this
not using.
no,
cups
this is going to be
properly.
awful for any of the guys here, but it's that like anti-rape device thing where it's got the teeth like a
I know what you're
shark's
talking
mouth.
about.
It's like that
Like I
movie-
imagine you got caught
there
and you were
ever
like, I
sex?
just have to stay here until it's over.
What goes in does not come out.
No, it does not.
Imagine the wait while the police are coming to arrest you. It's like,
I know, right? It's like,
So-
please get this off my
seen any
dick.
good movies recently?
I'm not leaving.
on the bear trap.
We're staying like this until the police arrive
I know,
and
right?
the EMTs.
Yeah.
I mean, it would just
And the
slide
job. So
how's
right
it
out of
going?
the woman. So she most likely
Like-
would get away, and then he would just have this. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah,
Tinbad.
I mean,
What
it
I'm
comes
saying
out of
is,
her.
I imagine she was like that thing, but like she
No.
ate all of you with claws. I'm not wording this right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, no. It was an interesting night.
I imagine you tend to. It's like either like work or like conference things, and you're like, yeah, I'm staying up in a hotel for this thing, and I'm like, oh, really? Okay. How-
Hey, that doesn't happen that often.
It feels like it whenever you tell me a story.
Oh,
Tinbad party hard.
I mean,
stories.
desk job, man. Gotta be wild somehow.
Yeah, desk jobs.
Yep. I still. I was gonna say.
Oddly enough, on the topic of mutilated penises,
Oh no!
Um,
Do we have to come back to this?
Rod, no.
I was gonna say I still remember the
Didn't you-
one where who
Didn't you
was
just break your penis?
Tog was there with
just
you.
no, that was a long
I like
time
that
ago.
story. Shout out to Tog. Can we tell that one? Let us know in the comments below. Oh, it's Alice!
Alice is back.
The
I was
fucking
going to say,
cat
I
face!
need
That's
to-
exactly what happened at the beginning. Oh my god, that was beautiful. Your timing is impeccable. You don't even need to talk on this one.
God.
Harold the Great died of gangrene of the penis. There you go. That's the fun fact I learned this week.
Oh. Oh.
Who?
Oh.
Herod?
Never heard of him.
Biblical figure.
Hmm.
Ah.
Yep.
Old Testament?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just
Roughly
saying.
the part where I think Jesus was about to be born, and he's the guy that ordered the execution of all those babies.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they've attributed it
like,
to
bro, that's my
gangrene of
son.
genitals. Actually, they think he might have killed himself because the gangrene was that bad.
Oh, God.
Probably.
What a way to go.
I mean, it was him or his penis.
Oh.
I mean,
I mean,
he chose,
Obviously, he
decided-
couldn't live without it.
Back in that day.
back in that day, that does not go well for you without a penis.
No.
No.
How
Long
do you
story short, my
prove
penis
you're a
is
real
fine and
man?
functional.
Anyway, can we move
Ugh.
away from the mutilated penises and something?
Please.
Maybe a couple hundred years later, like Chivalry or something.
All right, Chivalry, Joker.
that's a great game.
Sorry, it's just.
A game.
Yeah, Chivalry.
The penis.
What? The
Chivalry is a
penis?
game with lots of dismemberment.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm actually.
I don't
quite
think you can
lost.
chop anyone's dick off or anything like that. But I was making a joke. Chivalry Medieval Warfare is a game that
Oh!
I frequently played on Steam.
Okay.
No, we were talking about the other day. I think Vesper was there. It was late at night because he was waking up at work, and we're talking about so, like chivalry as like the actual concept of like chivalric values with knights and shit. And there was we were complaining about how people like talk about chivalry is dead, and like chivalry in this general like a concept of just like people complaining that no one like respects people anymore and stuff like that. People don't treat women right because that's chivalry apparently. But I mean, chivalry isn't that. It's fucking the code of the knights to like fight the way they fight. Man,
Well,
it's hard,
actually,
dude.
here's fun fact: there was never actually like a specific code of chivalry. Each country and each culture actually had their own collective book of chivalry.
Huh.
Oh, like very ordered order.
Yeah, it was not very orderly at all.
Somehow not really
More
surprising.
fun. Yeah. Apparently, though, a lot of the moral virtues were actually more influenced by like the Arabic concepts of chivalry, and they were eventually later co-opted. Because, as you know, prior to the Mongols, the Middle East and Asia were actually much more technologically advanced than Europe, and then the Mongols fucked everything up.
Yeah.
God
Wait,
damn it,
wasn't there?
Genghis.
I know Joker had a Joker had a joke. Joker had a joke around it,
Uh.
but I actually remember there was a thing. I can't remember who I was talking about, but there was like this really like great, as in like the original meaning, like great library in Egypt or something that got
Yes.
yeah
The Library of Alexandria.
yeah, the Library of Alexandria that got just like we are so
It burnt
behind.
down twice, I believe.
Yeah.
Got torched.
Wait, what?
There's
Library
also
of
another.
Alexandria?
Yeah. There was also another great library in Baghdad, and from historical texts, Baghdad was actually a fairly lush place to live, right up until the point the Mongols came and they dumped all the scrolls and books into the Tigris and the Euphrates, to the point where the river ran black with ink for a long time afterwards, and that killed a lot of the vegetation in the area.
But on top
many-
of that, we also lost like hundreds of years of documentation and knowledge that have been shared. So like a lot of people say and like are kind of bitter about it, where it's like, yeah, like a few people decided, to do this, and humans as a entire species suffers for it. And it's actually funny because calling back on it again about like certain animes and stuff, a similar thing kind of happens in Fullmetal Alchemist, where the library gets burnt down.
Yep.
So I love the little nods to like real life influence, which is something that Final Fantasy 15 is also supposed to be doing.
I mean, Assassin's Creed does it really well too.
Well,
like
yeah.
the nods to history and everything.
Well, also the exact
But-
replication of location.
Yeah,
No, but,
we
like,
won the
when you're
Revolutionary
playing-
War thanks to one Indian.
Yeah.
No, like, like when you're playing. Oh, spoiler for those who haven't played. When you're playing Desmond and you're going.
In which
I
game,
think it was
Demi?
Assassin's Creed- wait a minute, I was just about to say. In Assassin's Creed 3, like
there you
right
go.
before he dies, and you're going to all the different places in present time, and you're discovering like the library here, like underneath this building, or the secret tombs underneath in Rome in Assassin's Creed 2 or Revelations or whichever one that was. Like that'd be interesting to actually go see. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but like what's going on is like if the government knows about it, like if that country's government knows about it, they don't want you to go down there. Like I can tell you right now, there's probably a shit ton of tombs in Greece that the government's like, hey, no, don't touch. We're never gonna show you this. Don't touch.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I wonder why.
everyone's got skeletons in their closets.
Well, not even just necessarily skeletons, just people are, kind of awful at times. The oldest strand of trees in the United States, they don't actually publicly mention where that is anywhere because they're afraid someone's going to go chop the tree down.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, and that's usually, expect the worst, but hope for the best.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely a pessimist.
Yeah. I try not to be.
easier to get through shit.
I mean, yeah, gotta be a realist.
At times.
In my line of work, every realist is a pessimist.
Well,
Oh,
in
great,
your
I'm
line of
grouped
work,
with you.
you're kind of surrounding yourself with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I like my job. I like it quite a bit. It's exciting. That said, though, generally temper your expectations because people will disappoint you at times.
Joker, what was the joke? I'm so
Oh.
confused.
Clicking out on it.
I know, we stumbled over it and then we ended up on another topic.
Yeah, well, there was this stand-up comedian who was talking about chivalry and had this whole bit about it. I don't remember who the comedian was. I could probably find it, but Google. Where just like this lady, he didn't hold the door open for this lady, and she was like, "Well, I guess chivalry is dead," and he let her know that chivalry is not dead, and then challenged her to a duel, and then
Oh my god!
chivalry is not dead, but that lady
Okay, so-
is.
Was
So
that
here's the
Brett
quote.
Druck?
Maybe.
Yes. A lot of people misuse the word chivalry.
It's true.
I looked up the code of chivalry. Oh wait, hang on a second. Is this the right order?
Fail.
Yes. Wait.
Okay. Alright. A lot of people misuse the word chivalry. I looked up the code of chivalry. There's only one part in it that's actually about respecting women. The rest is about medieval battle etiquette. A week ago, I didn't hold open the door for a lady and she said, "I guess chivalry is dead." So I challenged her to physical combat. Turns out I'm the better jouster. Chivalry is alive, but that woman is dead.
I actually have something really funny to say. I can't remember who told me about it, but it's around chivalry and doors. And there was this one woman who was working in a workplace. Obviously, that's what you do in a workplace. And they were in a meeting room or something, or she had to go into a room to get something. And somebody else went with her, because, I don't know, they were sent with her or whatever. And he went in ahead of her, so, like, obviously the door had already been opened. He got what he needed because he found it first, and so then he left and the door shut behind him, you know, and he's like, whatever, I'm going back to do my job, you know, she's kind of an annoying bitch, I don't really like you. And then, like, hours
I know what you're
pass.
feeling.
Yeah, right, hours pass, and somebody asks him, like, hey, where's your coworker? And he's like, I don't know, I'm not in charge of her. I just do my job. And then, so, you know, another hour or two pass and she's still not there. So, like, he and the supervisor end up going back to that room, and they open the door, and she's still in there, and she just huffs and puffs, and is like, chivalry's dead, like, why did nobody open the door for me? Like, literally because that guy didn't open the door for her, she was trapped in that room.
And refused to leave.
Yes, because she's, like, demanding a man open the door for her.
That's how you lose your job.
I was
Well, that's
like,
just freaking stupid.
this
So,
is
by that
unbelievable.
logic, is Hodor the most upstanding of knightly virtues?
Hold the door! Hold the door!
Oh, that's so
He
bad.
waited
no.
for years for that moment.
Oh my god. I just, oh.
You ever got confused? Like every time there was ever a door, it's like, is this the door? Do I
Is
hold
this
this
it?
door?
Do I hold this one?
You think some nights at, like, freaking Winterfell, he'd be like, this door's open. I need to make sure it stays open.
Wait,
He just, like,
that's
sits
the-
there for hours, just, like,
Wait.
holding the door open.
But that's the
I just
thing.
realized that's a very unclear message. Like,
Right?
is it hold the door open or hold the door closed?
Oh no, Tinbad.
Oh, I've seen worse than that.
I know.
What
The
did
3D
they
printed
do?
outdoor.
The 3D
Door stop.
printed, yeah, the doorstop that says
Oh.
Hodor.
I've seen way worse than that. I've seen one which was
No.
just a doorstop with the actual actor photograph, like photoshopped onto it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
My favorite, someone took a sticker of him and put it on the,
Yes, on the whole
the door
door
closed
button on
button of the elevator.
yeah.
Jeez.
Did you guys hear about the fan that apparently predicted this moment like 7-8 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I believe it.
There's always one.
Yeah, it was like another writer who likes to play with words and like predicted that
Like
his
what the
name
origins
was
of
meant-
Hodor was, yeah.
Yeah. That was funny. I like that article.
Do we got a couple more minutes here. Do we got any final notes or comments for this episode?
Always hold the door.
Oh my god.
When Rob cooks with salt, he cooks with lots and lots
Oh,
and lots
no.
of salt.
He does.
Oh, God.
Screw you, Ron.
You're the
No,
one
this
that
is
did it.
so
This is
fun.
100% your fault.
This is not my fault.
All right.
Get good. Dodge.
Whoa, get
I
good!
would-
She threw it at you. What are you
What?
gonna say?
I was carrying the team.
Those are big words.
Oh.
I was not
So-
here for any of this.
Here's the context. Playing Overwatch, we're moving the payload, it's the Dorado map, and there's only one, like, we're through all the checkpoints. There's only the do or die, the last stand. And we're getting absolutely destroyed by this Genji. So,
Oh, this play.
I take the hit for the team. I go to Junkrat so that I can kill the Genji. I lay the trap down. He activates his ult. He walks right into it. Perfect. I can shut him down. We can rally. We can kill the other bastards. We've got this. There's less than a minute to go. So I reload the grenade launcher and I get ready to start gently rolling some grenades at his feet so he doesn't reflect them back at me. When out of the fucking blue, here comes Demi blinking over the fucking horizon. And with both of those fucking machine pistols unloads into Genji, who is reflecting.
She's playing Tracer,
And
by
he
the way.
takes those bullets. Yes, she's playing Tracer. And Genji takes those bullets and reflects them right into my goddamn mouth. And I die immediately. The shot breaks. And he goes on a killing spree, and he kills everyone, and the game is over before I even respawn.
Cavalry is here.
Yeah.
Cheers, love!
MVP for the other team. Fucking Demi over here.
And since then, Rod has recruited me to hunt down Demi and her associates.
Yeah.
I still... Who was in the game with me when I was yelling at everyone to get on the payload? Because I thought we were delivering it, and I couldn't
Me.
understand why it was
I was
moving
there.
It
so
was me,
slowly!
DJ.
That was me as well.
Oh my
yes.
goodness, we were doing a payload map. I think it was Route 66, and
It was Route
we were on
66.
defend, and I knew we were on defend, but I kept telling everyone, stand on the payload, we need to move it. I forgot halfway through that we
And you
were...
complain, why is it going so slow?
Yeah, I was like, wow, I know people complained it went slow, but this is really, really slow.
And then when the timer
Honestly-
ran out, you thought we lost because the timer ran out. It's like, oh, we won. Oh, we were defending.
Yeah, I was so confused.
That entire game, I thought Sheena was just being, like, incredibly competitive.
Like,
Like,
really,
she wants to move it back to the last checkpoint.
like
Okay.
a really aggressive
It's only
defense.
moved like 10 feet.
Oh my god, that was.
I will
and I was
say,
like, it's
I will
late.
say,
I
in
should
your defense,
probably
Sheena,
stop.
that same game was the one where me, Rod, and DJ
Yeah, you guys
were just talking to
fucking.
each other and just walked past the payload and just kept walking to their spawn. And they were like, wait, where are we going?
Because I think
Like,
I
what
was
are we doing?
defending it. It was like I was Chaser, I believe, and there was like 5 people on the other team on it, and I was like, team, where's team? Team, because like I'm Chaser, I do Chaser things. I circle around, I be blinky blink and annoying, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I
just
can't.
two randoms.
I can't be on the payload because I'm Tracer and I'll die. I need, DJ or someone tanky. I'm like, team? Because normally I'll just not say anything and I'll just listen, when I'm flanking. But then I'm like, okay, they should have spawned by now. And I press tab and they see that, yeah, okay, you guys are alive. Where the fuck are your little butts, right? And then I hear, I can't remember which one of you were like, wait,
It was me.
where is everyone?
Yeah.
And you realized
the
you had
payload-
walked, because Rod was like, time to do that really long walk again, and I was like, why is it so long? Like, where are you?
All 3 of us were side by side walking together.
I
We got
literally
to the
picture,
end,
like,
all
the-
the way back to their cafe spawn point. Like, wait, what?
The bros just going for like a walk, like how you'll see them walking 3 in a row on the sidewalk that force other people to squish off on the side to fit around them. I pictured that's what you guys were doing, just chumming it up and walking.
Yeah,
And I'm
pretty
like,
much.
Amazing.
Because the payload hadn't really moved when I died. So I
Yeah.
just figured, okay, it's going to be in that location. And I go over there and start looking around like, something's missing. We kill the enemy team because I'm not getting shot.
I think our pugs too weren't they were AFK.
They
Which
weren't
we-
AFK. I just watched. They died a
Yeah, they
lot.
sucked. And for those not aware, that's pickup group, not actual dogs.
Yeah.
To be fair, actual dogs might have done better.
Probably.
And would have been way cuter.
In game or playing
Oh,
at
yeah.
the keyboard.
Adorable.
Both.
Oh, true.
So,
And
one
let's
of
be
my
honest.
favorite jokes to come out of Overwatch is the comics that people are making with someone saying, I've killed an entire opposite team, push the payload. Mercy comes up, hands a note, says, heroes never die.
Yeah.
Did you see the one that says for a price?
Yeah, I love that one on Soldier 76.
Yo.
Soldiers never die for a price. Love it.
I like the one. It's a picture of Bastion, and it shows just Ganymede on his shoulder, and then it zooms in, and then it's the bird saying "kill them all."
Yes. I still love that one. The one play of the game I got is Mercy in Hollywood. We were on the payload, and there was like, I think they had like a Bastion and a Torbjorn and like, I don't know, Junkrat, Tracer or something, and I felt really tiny because we had like a Reinhardt and I think Demi was Roadhog. We had really big heroes, and I was really small, standing somehow like in the middle of like all the big heroes on our team.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting hit, and I just saw like my counter because my ult was ready for resurrecting, and it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like, why is everyone dying? And I just hit Q, and then everyone came back, and that was like more than half of the team. Because it was just chaos too. I remember looking at the highlight afterwards. You can't see what's happening on my screen. It's like the camera's pushed
That's
in.
because there was a Bastion behind you shooting us all.
I know, there was like, Reinhardt had the shield up. I don't know what was happening. There was like explosions from a Junkrat. I didn't know. It was chaotic.
Oh yeah.
But it was good.
It's a great game.
It is.
I'm
It's
not lying.
really fun.
Going to go play it immediately.
Yeah,
after this.
I might play tonight, but I'm not allowing myself to play tomorrow because I told people, like, if you see me on Overwatch, yell at me because I need to finish cleaning my apartment. So, but this has been a pretty,
You can hire a maid.
no, because then they're going to put stuff and I won't know where it is. But, this has been a pretty well-rounded episode of ModCast. Maybe we'll get into more of, interesting topics on the next one. So I just wanted
more
to...
ancient history.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for being here tonight to do this. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure the viewers do as well. If you guys enjoy ModCast or any of my other videos, since I'm intending to start doing more organic Let's Plays over here on YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button down below or check out any of my other social media if you prefer that. And hope you all have a good week, and we'll see you on the next ModCast. Bye!
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, we'll work on that.
So long.
Can I just say,
Getting there.
I see the green ring around Alice's cat, and I just imagined it quietly screaming.
Cool.
Was I there for that?
High noon somewhere. in the
I
I think
think
I
you
was
were.
for that one.
I think you were.
Watching.
You know what?
Bloody